So, we did a thing last Friday. We did. It was grand. Explosive. Ah. Ah. Nano Maiden. Maiden of the Nano. Copy paste.
Stored on your character sheet.
Where's it stored?
It's
a Nano Maiden. I also just copy pasted in the chat.
Okay.
It's also this one. Need to get rid of for 7. And there it is. Two. Yeah, those are the only things we didn't go over. Elemental fusion, double potency. What would you like to go about doing it, Matt? Would you like to go at the first one and then work our way up, or would you want to start from nickel and then work our way down? Nano one, I mean. The other ones are just Mech. But
Okay. So. For coin toss?
Yeah, I think it was the 7th. Yeah. I had that in before. I was working on that before I did my pinnacle.
So we need to do that stuff, shit.
No, 7? we never got to do it. It was part of the whole thing. Then we were like, we'll worry about that later because that's a whole bunch of shit.
Mm-hmm. See. So do we need to go to 10 or just 7?
Just 7 for coin toss. Just need to just whatever it's going to be you want it to be, throw it out there, and then elemental fusion and metal and wood aren't too important for potential in each of them. I don't know what you would want to do with them anyway, so they can be left until later. Not important. I'm really excited for is the my good old cradle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Pretty simple for 7.
Okay.
You can choose to when you roll coin toss.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to double the bonuses and the negatives.
Okay.
Hmm. And it also works well with the one that allows you number six. You can
Hmm.
no, yeah, number six allows you to swap.
Yep, once a week.
Yep. So you can swap, or you can even just reduce the negatives if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Double. Double trouble. That's coin toss for sure.
Yeah. And you put in how much for elemental fusion? Wood and
Two
metal?
potential into both. I had one in it before,
Uh, uh,
and that pretty much just gives the node creation of you can use a magnet with that quality instead of just having the quality active.
sure.
And two, I don't know what you want it to be.
Uh, Trying to think of a balanced way to apply it so that it
I know.
actually is interesting,
Besides
useful.
double potency, the quote
I don't
unquote.
want to do double potency on this one particularly here.
Yeah, because it's already double potency, right? You
Hmm.
wouldn't be double doubling. It's just something
Ooh, that would be
cool.
scary.
Yeah, yeah.
Double, 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 double. Elemental wood and metal. Let's see.
You remember what the quote unquote wording for those qualities are?
Maybe.
They're in my abilities tab there for
Hmm.
positive qualities. If you'd like to check.
Oh. Let's see. Okay, let's see what we got. Mm. Uh, the wood element will give you regen 1, and the metal element will give you um, a +1 armor to all parts, but that also applies to your mechs as well, since you have a connection.
I shall try your spicy tea.
Yeah, so since it's double potency, it ends up being 2 regen, and then 2 armor to all parts.
Okay, cool. And that's a passive
So,
thing instead of having to be active all the time, right?
mm-hmm.
Hey.
Yep. So it's +1 regen, +1 armor, and that
Mhm.
applies to all mechs. Um, for you, the only mech that actually gets the regen is the inner one
That's
until
fine.
you infuse nano into your other two mechs, and then they get.
So nano infusion's already in the executioner.
Do they have a nano cradle?
No, I gave them the fate point with the gift and the maiden, and I
Mm-hmm.
gave the 100 external potentia for it. But I did. I don't. They don't have a cradle, so they need a cradle for it. Gotcha.
Yeah. Mostly because you're not going to be able to produce enough nano to
Hmm. That's fair.
uh, repair heavy plates or other armor bits because you picked very large machines.
Mhm.
So you do need a nano cradle. But you can really get the max out of your cradle if you ever get it in there. Okay. Well, there you go. Those are those handled.
Super simple. Excellent.
Yeah, super simple. I figured it's only one potentia upgrade on the tree, so it's
Yeah.
super straightforward. It also helps apply at least the metal bit to all the other parts, which
Mhm.
makes your machines a little bit tougher. Okay, going down the thing. So,
Yeah. Question: do you want to start from the top or the bottom?
well, we got to start from the bottom.
Yeah.
I think maybe
Does this affect my external potential I put into it as well, or just the internal?
just the internal.
Okay, that's fine. The only thing I would ask for you, Matt, is we didn't do the 10 potentia external that we put into it, that influence pass I did with 6 degrees. We didn't do, we didn't put that into anything. We didn't make a power or make an upgrade for it.
External? What do you mean?
Yeah, it's right underneath 10 potentia influence pass 3 degrees, bone structure upgrade plus 10 armor. That was my last one for it. One before was the unnatural agility and weapon skill, which gave complex actions reduced to half action.
And you put another 10 external in to do
Yep.
to what?
Just to improve it, because
Which ability is this?
this is just me putting external into my cradle instead of just internal. Because you got me.
Oh, you're getting another upgrade to the cradle by
Yeah.
putting potential into it. Oh.
Yeah, the 10 instead of the, because I did both, right? I did 10 external and 10 internal for it, which gave me the.
You can increase the durability of your inner cradle.
Okay.
By your toughness bonus again. And that applies to your inner mech. So if something hits that inner cradle, it's got extra health.
Yeah, because we already got Ezekiel empowered for the cradle, which gave it extra durability. So this would be
instead of giving you
excellent.
a flat bonus, that's why you get the toughness bonus, which grows with you because you did the manifestation of body, and you also have Ezekiel improved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right. Where am I starting here?
The one with the one with the brackets. That's where you should start at.
The where?
The one with the brackets, right underneath that NP influence pass. So if we're looking at our special abilities instead of the chat, there we go to our Nano Maiden. It should be. It's like a one. It's a bracket, one bracket. Overdrive. Grey Goose surroundings with tech use.
Okay, so Nano Maiden. Okay, you got a bunch of armor at a glance. Damn, you have some bad spelling. Holy crap!
For which ones?
Hidden weapon technique.
Oh yeah, probably.
Vapor. Dermacine is spelled with a Y. And is hilt? You mean hilt?
Oh, you found one of them. One left.
What's S? What is this word? What is that word?
With so that's the
Aries steel?
I think it's Ceres Steel is the stuff that works really well with Leah, right? The stuff that it was when the Shorty, she went and took that thing off the mech. They were bringing it back.
Yeah,
So
that
Ceres
was
Steel. Yeah.
that was Ceres steel.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. C to the cradle. That's not it? Just keep going down.
No, Seed of the Cradle's it. Seed of the Cradle is how my cradle was made.
I'm talking about your.
Oh yeah, just scroll down a bit. It's because we have the external potentia, and then we have the internal after that.
Why don't you just copy and paste in the chat? Because these are your personal notes. It's hard to go through.
Sure. Yeah, you were right there, Matt. It was just I'll again.
Just post it in chat for the.
There you go.
The pinnacle potentia that we're going to be doing. All right. So overdrive get grease surroundings with tech use. And overdrive is the double turns with.
No, overdrive is literally just put it into use. Kind of just your nanos go out and Grey Goose stuff. That's what you said for it. There is an overdrive though. You're right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nothing really changes with the gray goo
Yeah.
one. You could still go out and gray goo your surroundings. It depends on the nano that you particularly use.
What do you use instead of tech use? Say forbidden nano lore for it instead, or
Yeah, you can use both.
okay.
Tech use doesn't go beyond tech use. But if you level up nano, that has multiple instances in which you can level it up a lot more. So you can use tech use or forbidden lore nano on the great goo.
Hmm.
So just call it harvest
Harvest. Okay, sounds good.
instead of overdrive, unless it actually has overdrive attached to it.
Yeah, I think that's just what you wording. That's I went back and checked, and that's just why you
Yeah.
worded it. So
Okay, yeah, we'll call it harvest, and then it'll be. You can still grey goo your surroundings, but you can use tech use or forbidden lore nano
okay.
or any of the constituents. Um, just plus 10 to tech use, plus 1 meter range of what? Is that the
Grey
great
gooing.
gooing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want some bread?
Red. Sure.
Instead of the plus 10, go ahead and add plus 10 meter range. Put considerably faster, and in brackets, if I remember correctly, it took several turns for you to Grey Goose stuff and then pull it back, right? Do you know the action economy was assigned to that?
Nope, you didn't assign any. I remember last time when you wanted me to Grey Goo the teeth guy in Moldred's.
It was
Said it
pretty
would
fast.
take 4 turns. Is what you said it would take. So
Yeah. Just have the amount of time it would take in each instance to get Grey Goose something.
Okay.
You have a plus 10 meter range. Remove the bonus to tech use because you don't need it.
Okay.
Dense components plus 1 meter.
That's for also the Grey Gooing for plus 1 meter. Dense components is just like, I guess more hardy components internally.
I think you're able to take apart denser components. So for this one, you're going to be able to Grey Goo highly resistant materials.
Okay.
Highly resistant is basically like osmium.
Yeah.
So if somebody hits you with an osmium ignition blade, if you can gut the fire, you can if you get your hands on the weapon. This will allow you to basically Grey Goo almost anything, with the exception of, I'm going to say, 3 things in the game, and you guys have come across one of them. So what this does is it lets you take apart objects that normally Nano can't because it's too dense. And you guys have come across one substance Nano is impervious to, which is Star Slab.
Yeah.
Nano just can't get through it. It's too dense, too heavy. It actually warps. It actually is so heavy and dense, it actually has a slight gravitational energy field, which fucks Nano.
Right.
So, and since they're so small, they're basically helpless.
So you're saying there's only 3 things that I can't get through with my Nano?
Yes,
I
but
know one of them. But it takes
because
a
of
while.
that,
Yeah.
if you go after hyperdense materials, it extends the amount of time it takes you to nano something by 10 times.
Okay.
But it allows you to take apart most things.
Yeah.
If you have better nano, like some of the other strains
Mhm.
that you guys have come across, it will potentially change that number. But for now, with what you got, it
All right. So the
increases.
Lilith nanos that I have, they'll take a bit. I gotcha.
Yeah, because hers are safe to use.
Yeah.
Good
Sure.
for you. Go ahead and add another. Instead of 1 meter, it's another 10 meters. The range.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Plus 10 to strength, toughness. Plus 9. That one I think I'm gonna keep as is. I'm not gonna
Okay.
improve the strength or toughness, but I will add something on. You can include agility on there as well, and willpower.
Just a note, Matt. The unnatural strength and toughness are just literally the bonus increase and the +10. That's all they do for those things. They don't have anything special attached.
Yeah, well, get the unnatural for the
For both. Yeah.
an agility and then also willpower. Same thing,
Excellent. Sounds good.
but it just gives you 2 more.
Yeah. I don't have anything special attached to the unnatural. It's just it gives you that thing. Gotcha.
Okay. Redundancy brain box, if not in dormancy state, repairs other components up to half. You can just have it repair up to full
Okay.
at twice the speed.
Okay.
Potentia clusters, inner mech outline, hit with magnitude damage because remove the fatigue.
Gotcha. That's a good one. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, that's the mastery of body.
Yep.
Like you no longer suffer from using your mech because your inner mech's complete. Your body can handle it now.
It's just,
Because you are not Jackie. You are your mech.
Yeah.
And your mech is living through Jackie.
Mhm.
Actually, you did a swap. You went into the inner space, space.
okay.
During that time, absorbed all of your nano,
Mhm.
basically shed off your second skin for a moment, deconstructed yourself down to your constituent pieces, and then restitched yourself into a mech. Because that is what you are now. You are a
Yeah.
mech. You're not a
Yep.
person.
Banana mech.
And then you reside kind of in
the cockpit?
your. Well, there is no cockpit. You don't need a cockpit in your mech. It is you.
Yeah. I was just trying to relate to what you're saying there.
Yeah. And then you form a nano vessel.
Yeah.
In which you can utilize in the real world while you sit in your.
Okay.
And that body can die as many times as you want.
Oh,
So
as
if it
long as I
gets
have nano?
smashed into a puddle, that's what
Yeah.
it is. It's just a puddle of nano. Now, if it is smushed into a puddle of nano, that is when, if that whole body goes offline, it summons you
Mhm.
out from your dimensional space. And you can come out any which way you want. You can have a rip in reality open, and there's this giant mech hand that comes through.
Is this where my unnatural influence comes in?
Yes. You can basically decide if you just kind of appear next to the puddle, or your mech rises up out of the puddle that you got smashed into, your vessel, or you kind of rip your way out of the dimensional space. But for the mech, it's only going to be a medium sized.
Okay, that's fine. Medium's fine.
The
I was either gonna go medium or large, but either one's fine.
Medium is the perfect size for the nano body technique. That's what Lilith is. She's a medium.
2x2, right?
2x2 on the large scale, but when you're on the surface, you are 4x4.
Oh, so okay. I thought I got to choose my size for it. All right, sounds good.
Well, no, you do get to choose your size for it, but 2x2, that's your vessel. That's your avatar's vessel. You can have it be a 2x2, yeah. I'm talking about your inner mech.
Yeah. Okay. I was just thinking to fit inside other mechs or whatnot, but
Well,
I don't.
yeah, well, technically, you can leave nano pilots
Mhm.
in your other 2 mechs.
Yeah, we've talked about that. It's like a shadow clone, or what do we call them? A nano clone, something like along those lines.
Basically, what you do is you can construct a vessel box that you sit and wire to the cockpit seat.
Mhm.
And then when you want to activate it, the nano vessel flows out of the box and it sits in the seat, and then it starts to activate, and you can. It's basically an extension of your self.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the next one. Produce nanos devoted to intermech cluster needed. Yep. Every week it produces 1 inner cluster. Very good, but we've perfected it.
Yeah.
So 7, what it does is the intermech cluster. What that is basically is regen.
Yeah, that's figured it would be.
It's 10 now, not 1.
Okay. So every week, is it like a different type of regen then? So it's 10 per week,
it's
or
full body restoration. Every week you get plus 10 armor to all pieces, plus 10 durability. Like it's an inner repair shop.
Yeah.
And it repairs everything at 10 points every week. Now you can supplement this and speed this up by feeding it more nano.
Yeah.
And gray gooing shit. And so it's very good, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's see. Number 8.
This created an internal fabricator inside the inner mech.
Metal fab and potential. All right, so the internal fab, which you have, is macro micro, which is all because 10 would be micro, all the circuitry and whatnot. So 8 is called a macro fab.
Okay.
And macro fab builds the components, but without the circuitry.
Okay.
Without the computer bits, without the wiring. That's really hyper dense. So that's the stuff that can like reach out to your like myomer that you have inside the mech and then repair it or construct it. The metal fab, that's what you use to produce your plates.
Yep.
And other parts. And then you have the microfab, which produces all the itty bitty stuff.
Is that really what the 10's going to be then?
Yes, that is what the 10 is.
You want to call it the
but putting
quantum
that all
fabricator?
together, putting that all together allows you to construct your inner mech.
Yeah.
Now, these fabs are manufactorums inside you.
Yeah.
So that means you can, if you absorb something, you can actually just straight up print it once you understand what it is. Yeah. So if you Grey Goose something and you're like, well, we need a computer. Let me eat that computer. Don't eat the computer. It's our only one. Shut up. And then you just start fabricating computers and it's like, oh, that's OP. It's like, yes, I know.
I mean, I can already create a cloud computer in a day.
Those computers do not follow normal construction logic.
Mm-hmm.
They're built with a completely different design philosophy.
Yeah.
And if you know how to build cloud computers, you may look at another supercomputer and go, I don't know how this is built. Why would you use this and not a crystal computational matrix? It's like, do you know how expensive and hard to make a crystal computational matrix is? It's like, well, you got a point, but shut up.
Yeah.
But you can pretty much Grey Goo about anything if you get your hands on it, which includes Shade Tech, Spectrum technology, Leah technology. If you get your hands on it and you Grey Goo it, I will have you roll the associated forbidden lores to really understand it. And if you can actually fully understand it, then you can print it, as long as you can absorb the parts, you know? Because you do got to find the parts.
Yes.
All right.
Besides the, did we talk about the 10? I don't recall.
It was the 10. That was the microfab.
No, I mean the extra 10 external potentia with influence pass at 6 degrees of success. That one, do it again. Because I don't think we did that.
I just needed you to pass a basic influence to get it to work for the ascension.
Oh, no. This was the me putting 10 external potentia into the nano cradle.
You already did that. We gave you double durability.
Oh, double durability. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right,
I'm good. Your toughness bonus again in durability.
Yes. Yep. I remember now, and I'm all set then. Thank you, Matt.
All right. So transcendence of body is different for every group. Yours is kind of straightforward. You know, you get your new body. It's rather pretty solid. So the thing with trample the earth, ascend to heaven, which is the body transcendence, is your physical body starts with no internal and external components. There's no cockpit. It's basically hollow.
Yes.
But the cool part about your mech is you can grab a part and absorb it, process it, deconstruct it, and then reconstruct it inside your nanomech.
Yeah.
You can also freely exchange parts however you want, because everything is kind of fluid, as long as it's inside the dimensional space, which is your hangar.
Yes, I have a very large hangar.
Yes, you do.
So let me just let you know what it is. So Nanomaiden.
Your inner hangar, yeah.
Yeah, so I have +2 for my natural influence that it gives me. And my... Okay, so 53 times 3 meters +2. So 55 meters cubed is my total internal storage.
Yeah, that also allows you to store other parts and bits that you're like, these are very niche. Yeah, these are very niche. I'm gonna just kind of put that over there. It also allows you to store other nano variants if you want, or just piles and piles of extra nano in case you get hurt. If you retreat to your inner hangar, then you can start to do repairs, swapping out stuff. If you have plates already ready to go on the side, you can just eject the damaged ones and put the new ones on. So if you do a lot of prep, you could get totally fucked over in space. And then you're like, I'm gonna take 5. Executioner, go fight. I'm gonna go repair, just swap plates.
Yeah.
And the cool part is you can be all 3 at the same time, because you are all 3 at the same time.
Yeah. It's I've extended. I've left Earth, my timber, reached heaven with my executioner. And now
you've trampled the earth with your timber wolf. You've ascended to heaven with your
executioner,
heaven mech, and then you have mastered yourself with your inner mech, which is your Tao. So,
I guess one question, Matt. The bonsai tree. Did that give me any dimensional states, or did it give me any power per se, or is it just
the dimensional bonsai?
Yeah, the dimensional bonsai.
The dimensional bonsai sits in your inner hangar, and every day you can extract 1-dimensional energy from it safely.
All right, cool.
And you can either put it in a little canister, or you could just absorb it yourself.
Yeah. This is really good because when Aether was Cody, we were working on a Leah dimensional recycler that if you used a dimensional state, you recycled all your Leah. So that should be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's going to be good.
Okay. Nice. I always got to get those treasures, Matt, when you do your breakthroughs. If you don't have a treasure, what's the point, right?
Is that your treasure, your little bonsai that
A
gives
little
you
bonsai,
dimensional
yeah.
energy every day?
Excellent.
Okay.
Like
If you want, you can design with enough dimensional energy. It'll take
Mhm.
about 100 in total, but you can actually carve out what is called a safe space for visitors
Interesting.
um,
Cool.
inside your hangar.
Yeah.
Um, every 100 dimensional energy improves the space and allows for another room to be built as long as it's within the total
By
space
confines
available.
of my
Yeah.
internal search, pretty much.
The 100 dimensional energy makes a completely livable and habitable space
Right.
for somebody for 100 days because it's 100. You lose
Gotcha.
one dimensional energy state every day for a person that's in that state. If it ever reaches
Interesting.
0, your hangar kills them because there's
Gotcha.
nothing holding your hangar back from
From just crushing
disassembling
it.
them.
Yeah.
But you can also feed perpetually one
Yeah.
room
Yeah,
from
every
your
day.
bonsai.
Right. So as long as I don't have multiple people in multiple rooms, I'm doing okay. Hey,
Right.
baby.
If there's no people in them and you just construct different rooms and you have space for it, like you can even house like a squad that you saved.
Yep.
And you're like, come on, your mechs are gone, but I can save you guys at least. Those rooms will start ticking down. The reason it needs to be 100 is because if you don't have 100, it's like living inside a closet space.
Fair.
If it's at 10, you're basically giving them the room the size of I hate to say it, but a coffin.
Fair.
So basically, you're giving them the equivalence of 10 coffins of space.
Yeah, like a pretty much
like a walk-in
cryo
closet.
tube, pretty much like you're in cryo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, if you have cryos in there, you can be like, hey, I need you to step in this cryo, otherwise I'm not going to be able to house you.
Yeah.
And that goes up to 10.
Mhm.
And you can basically house that cryo. But again, that's only 10 days worth of time before your nano cradle just eats, or your nano hangar eats them.
So, clarification question for me, Matt.
Mhm.
When I get so I'm at 7 currently for my dimensional states. If I get up to 100, does that also mean, or do I have to like allocate those
Allocate
states?
100.
Gotcha. So
Fortunately, somebody's making baritine gas, and
yes, that is Nick's. Yes.
And he's about to have a big batch come out.
Good.
We're talking thousands of dimensional energy. You could easily just be like, hey, can I have some of that?
Yeah.
Baritine gas is extremely lethal to people.
Yes. Good thing I'm nano.
It'll actually shear nano off of you. It basically makes it, if you're exposed to the gas directly, nano will start to like stop working, and then you will start to melt as nano just starts to drip off of you. Sorry, bye.
Cool.
Yeah. Or your skin will start popping like firecrackers as all the nanos start to explode. Because it either infuses too much energy into the nanos, or it sucks all the energies off of them. Yeah. So you'll start to melt while you explode, little bits at a time.
Wonderful.
Yes. Don't mess with baritine gas. It's also completely invisible, except under specific light conditions, which makes it green.
Question for you, Matt. When you gave me the unnatural willpower and agility, did you also give me plus 10 to willpower and agility?
Well, those unnaturals give you those ones give you the plus 10 to each, just like the strength and the toughness, like you said.
Oh, so the original way we had it was literally a plus 10 to the characteristics and not just a bonus of plus 10.
No, it's a plus 10 to the characteristics. Both. That's what those are.
Okay.
Yeah. The unnatural willpower gives you permanent plus 10 to willpower, and the unnatural agility gives you permanent plus 10.
Yeah, instead of so I'm moving my willpower to 102.
Mm-hmm. Now those will be special. Those 4. So you want to put some sort of marker next to those willpowers, because those 3 things apply to the mechs in each one of its own different ways.
So a natural, what was it?
Strength.
Weapon skill, and was it? I thought it was weapon skill and toughness.
No, just those 4. Just the strength, toughness, agility, willpower. Those are 4 special. Yeah, they
For the
give you
mech.
the plus 10, but to the stats permanently.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
though that plus 10 to stat permanently applies to the mechs.
Okay. All right. So I will.
And
I'll have to
that'll
note that.
do it. That does a weird thing to a machine because you don't really get plus, additional strength.
Mhm.
So, I'll get back to you on that in a sec, but we're gonna finish up. So you have a 50 tonner
Okay.
as your inner. You already have your weapon. You are the CPU.
Yep. Makes sense.
You do not need a cockpit, but you can have one in case you want to give somebody a ride.
Right.
That has
Fair
to be
enough.
built. It has to be allocated inside.
Yep.
So the armor is one that you choose.
Okay.
And the frame is the one that you choose. So the you would want to follow the mech construction chart. And you can construct a frame however you want. And the cool part about your frame is it's not set unless you build it out of series steel, which is a problem to begin with. Because series steel, unfortunately, once it's set, and
It's
then
set,
otherwise
exactly.
it becomes less and less effective the more you permutate it. So
No,
you want to find
implying.
something that goes, hey, I'm gonna twist you and bend you, so instead I can that 2 medium weapons that I wanted on my right shoulder, I want it to be one large weapon and a small weapon now. And the frame's like, well, okay then, shit. The platings, of course, can all be twisted and shaped however you need it to be.
Yeah.
Again, in the hangar.
So should I get you a new mech picture? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that's going to be you.
Nice.
And your master is going to get you frame material of your choice.
Okay.
Even if it is series steel, but it's kind of going to be broken fragments.
Yeah.
If it's that, but they can get you recycled series steel and get you a full body's worth. They do have Duralex Heavy. They do have, they have all that stuff. Star Slab, Star Shield, and any of that stuff. That's not available. You got the only Star Shield on base?
I do. Yep. I think you must have rolled a 1 in the background because I was not expecting you to throw that at me.
I did roll a 1 in the background. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was first come, first serve for the Armor Monger. Because
I know, right? I haven't heard of anyone else going there, so it's nice that you have connections, right?
Yeah. And the Armor Monger, he actually sells his exclusive stock to the Iron Eaters at a decent rate. Yep, especially because Lilith is the contact that has, and now it's yours.
All I got to do is get in some liquor.
Yep, he loves his liquor. No, that's the Forge Master. If you remember the Armor Monger, he's up in the space station, and he has a giant warehouse filled with plates.
Oh, I thought Lilith just gave him a bottle of liquor instead of actually.
She gives liquor to pretty much all of the technicians and specialists, because that's
Sorry, I just gave my daughter a treat. Where's the stuff, Allie?
So
yes,
good girl.
So we've been kennel training.
You follow the normal mech construction process. Yep. Now the cool part with your mech is internal and external are interchangeable.
Right.
So you're able to change the internal to external and vice versa up to a total of your int bonus.
Okay.
in tons. So it kind of makes the mech take weird shapes because it's trying to take more that's what's on the outside and shove it inside.
Yeah,
But
I'm still
you can
waiting
do
on
that.
IQ to give me those 3 unnatural she has. So we'll get to that point eventually.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But eventually, if you just want to be like, I don't need thrusters, I don't need to move. I am
I'm
big
just firing.
chunk. I'm just chunk.
Yeah.
But yeah, the internals and externals are interchangeable with your unit within that restriction.
I have to try and build sets for myself so I can just be like, all right, I need this right now.
Well, what you can do is do prefab configurations, so that once you have a configuration, you have all the parts. You just need to change the configuration.
Yeah, it's like I have a space in my mech bay that I just be like, all right, that's not what I want right now. I'm going to switch to this one, clunk, and then everything changes.
It does take 24 hours to change a complete overhaul.
But those are good on the battlefield, so I'll accept that.
That's a complete change. That's like changing your armor, the ins and outs. Yeah, if you change one thing, it takes 1 hour.
Okay. But a full rehab takes or refab, or what is the word? A redo. A full redo takes pretty much
takes 24 hours.
Yep.
And that's if you have the parts ready.
Yes, like I have it in my internal hangar. Gotcha.
So to target your internal hangar, there are many ways to do so, but none of them are easy. So the vessel that you have out and about is extremely important, but technically unkillable because it's just a bunch of nano and metal and circuitry. And your avatar that you project, because you are the mech now, and the body that Jackie was in is now the avatar of you, a representative.
Yep.
That one wears the second skin and all that. You don't have second skin anymore. You are technically the mech.
Okay.
But Jackie avatar still gets all the cool stuff.
Okay.
But the U mech actually can do the strange grapple. It gets all of the nano body bonuses. So if you want to overclock yourself, you can get the double turn. And yes, you can use the what is that thing that you have that gives you?
There's overdrive magnitude damage. And there's magnitude damage is
The magnitude damage one that does magnitude damage that lets you hit ships for normal damage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And if you go and hit a mech with magnitude damage, I think it's fucked. That's why Lilith is able to just go over and just one shot a
bitch slap a mech. Like, you're submitting. It's just how it's gonna be. Don't make me hurt you.
Yeah, no, it's it's a ton of damage. Like it's a ludicrous amount of damage. That is not extended to your Heaven and Earth mech.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You can also use Art of Killing and its constituent upgrade while in the mech because it is your body now.
Yep.
You are basically like Neith. And this is why the stupid nanobody is so ridiculously powerful, because it takes what you earned and learned and received as a person, as a pilot, a warrior, a fighter, and then when you transcend to a mech, you bring all that shit with you, and it goes, holy, you can do kung fu in a mech? Yeah, dude, you have no idea. I'm about to break you. So all that stuff where it's like you catch somebody's, they attack you and you catch them under your arm and you're like, oh no, I have grappled you. It's like, are you actually a mech?
Yes.
Technically yes, but technically no. And you're about to find out why this is bad for you. Yeah. There's a lot of construction left.
Yep, I
'Cause you
imagine.
gotta decide all the parts. The reason why you still have to go through the mech building process is you still all get that customization. It allows you to utilize parts that exist. Um, allows you to integrate technology that will help you. Um, and most importantly, it lets us define the stats of a nanomech.
Yeah. Exciting.
Because otherwise, it's a giant question mark. You do have regen, but regen is completely attached to the nano clusters you have.
Hmm? Yep.
And the nano clusters, for durability, 3-to-1, 3 clusters for 1 durability repair on 1 part during active combat.
Yeah.
For armor, 10-to-1.
I figured you do 10-to-1. I think that's a good way. It's like magnitude. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's because the armor is way denser.
Hmm?
And it's supposed to be a plate that stops weapons.
Yep. So if I am doing this correctly for myself, I have.
Yeah. So it's going to be 5-to-1 to repair a damaged or broken internal or external component in case you take critical, and it just kills a component. It's 5-to-1. Clusters of nano to repair 1.
Does the redundancy come in here at all, or is it just more?
If you have a redundancy system, yes, it does.
Yeah, we do, right? From the 5th nano cradle part.
Yes, but if the redundancy fails and then it's destroyed, then unfortunately, then it's a 5-to-1. So you got a 3-to-1 for durability, which is your frame,
Yep.
which is the best I'll give you. 5-to-1 for internal components. That also includes weapons. If weapons get destroyed.
So 5-to-1 for weapons as well.
With the exception of your main axe, because of what you built it out of. That is a 25-to-1 for durability repair on that axe.
What about if I just use the extra material I have, because I have 2 more clusters of that?
Then you just use the material that you have. If you have spare material or actual full replacements, then you can just replace it if you're in the hangar.
Right.
That's where the repair process comes in. But this is you using the regen property.
Yeah, so my inner world is pretty much a hangar right now for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if you're not in the hangar and you're in combat or out just doing stuff and you take damage, if you don't return to the hangar to do a replacement or a quick repair, which is where you don't have to chew up your nano. If you're in combat, you got to chew up your nano clusters to repair yourself.
That's fine.
Because you don't have time to.
Yeah, and I just have to let regen do its thing, or somehow find things to eat.
You can choose not to regen if you want to.
Right. Okay, so what is not choosing?
Because it chooses up nanos. It chews up nanos when you do a repair, and you can go, nope, the plate's fine. I don't need to repair the plate.
Okay.
I'll just take damage on my other shoulder. You know?
Okay. So
you have a toggleable, choosable regen because of, unfortunately, it uses a resource. But if you work with Liam's character, you will never run out of nano because he has that cube.
Yes.
And that cube is to just, he can choose it to just produce nano.
Yep.
Cool. As for yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. You get to pick how the mech looks once you've constructed it and we've gone over it. You don't get any rekindling. You are technically your own mech spirit.
Yes, I figured as much.
We'll give you, once you build the mech, you will have a mech spirit trait because you are your own mech spirit.
Question: if I die, does my mech spirit get stronger?
Maybe. It depends on
Okay.
the death. If you die and then Iron Man, and now Iron Man is going to be weird.
Yeah.
Because Iron Man, in this case, I'll give you a choice now. You can be teleported to the place of your choice and be broken, like you fell.
Yeah.
And that allows you to undergo a rekindling.
Yep.
But you're broke. You got to be repaired.
So that was one of the things I made happen when I got Ezekiel to do some improvements to myself. I remember
that'll be for your Heaven and Earth mech.
Gotcha.
The inner mech works a little different. It is 100% you. You can choose to just
let's do that. That's
like
fine.
blow up and then be like, I'm just back to 100%.
But then there wouldn't be any rekindling. So let's go the other way. Let's go.
So it's gonna act kind of like Dead by Daylight. You can repair yourself up to 90%, and it needs external help from somebody to get you that last
100.
100.
Gotcha.
So it's the need help.
Yep.
So if your Heaven and Earth mechs are still operational, they'll still work.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you die in your mech, yeah, you have to be salvaged and put back together with external help. And it does require somebody who knows what the hell they're doing too. So
what about Adamantium Pathfinder with this stuff?
Adamantium Pathfinder works on your mech.
Nice.
That's the Heavens mech's part with that's the transcendence of body kicking in, and also the perfect Potentia Vortex, Pinnacle Potentia Vortex kicking in. Like all three of those makes it so that your inner mech has Adamantium Pathfinder charges.
Yeah, and I mean I did double potency when I did this with metal and wood, so it's just like
So technically you're also a Grandmaster now by even everyone else's standards, even E's standards, because that's what a Grandmaster looks like.
Yeah.
Somebody could kick the shit out of your avatar, and then you kind of open up a rift, and you poke your head out, and you're a mech. It's like, who's kicking the shit out of the little me? It's like, what? I will end you. And it's like, oh, that's not Jackie. That's Jackie.
Gorgeous. Alrighty. Yes.
At any point, you can collectively add the weight of one mech to your because Jackie technically weighs anywhere from 1 ton to 50 tons at any time.
Yeah.
It takes concentration to maintain anything that's not 50.
Yeah.
You can also technically add the weight and armor class of your other mechs to the Jackie avatar.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Mostly because it's not the UU, that's an expendable U.
Yeah.
So if you just need the Jackie U, just stand there and go, hit me. You can weigh a bunch and then also just have a bunch of armor, but you're so freaking heavy you can't move. Or maybe you just puddle because it's just like, well, that's what you get for putting 300 tons on a poor body. Also, IQ has joined you in the inner mech.
Okay.
Yep. So she's part of your inner mech, not the Jackie avatar.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Your pauldrons also have joined you.
Yes. What was it? Black and white?
They've become supersized.
Oh, nice.
So if you ever take yourself for a walk,
yeah,
you can kind of meander through base, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's Jackie." Oh,
you tell by the things.
You tell by the mech, you tell by the pauldrons, the axe, and you can just kind of meander through base. And all the Iron Eaters will. I mean, you are definitely their hero now, because you are the mech. Like, you couldn't be more of an Iron Eater if you tried. And because you have achieved transcendence of body, if you are allowed to take an apprentice. Now,
Sweet.
the nanobody technique, the rule Lilith has put down is only one apprentice at a time.
Yep, good call. Because there's only so much nano we can really dish out.
You need to give them your 100% attention.
Yep.
Because if you don't, there's a good chance they just die.
Yeah.
Also, having multiple apprentices, she's, unless it's a specific practice, which is not this one. So other people can have multiple apprentices because they don't have to worry too much about specific resource allotment. The amount of resources, money, connections, everything that you need to give your apprentice cannot be split in half for two apprentices. It'll create conflict, and they will fight each other.
Favoritism.
And either that or one will walk off with your technique.
Yeah, exactly.
And Lilith is like, please do not let nanobody be walking around. Now, with your apprentice, if he succeeds in his new body,
creating his cradle first, and then actually getting nano working. Yeah,
if he gets an inner mech successful, like you have and Lilith has, he is now a grandmaster of the nanobody technique. As long as he's undergone the body ascendancy. Yeah, the transcendence. Otherwise, he's just a nano master or a nanobody master.
Gotcha.
Because if you don't, technically your inner body is still a mech that you pilot instead of being you, which is the whole freaking point.
Yeah.
If they're not a grandmaster, they are not allowed to have a disciple. You can dismiss them if they're not making progress. Like, hey, I'm still your teacher. It's just I need to take a new disciple. Go out on your own, figure out the last steps you need,
Yeah.
So, the only one at a time. If you find two people that you literally just can't refuse, or it's just you need to have them trained, you can give one to Lilith because you have graduated.
Yeah.
She is still your teacher, but she can now take a new disciple. But unless you ask, Lilith is retired on the disciple thing. She is not taking another unless you ask her to.
And I don't think I will, honestly, because she deserves it, and it just gives her time to focus on the things that are important.
If Mordred is, once that arc is solved, Lilith may be able to move past her
trauma.
Her trauma, and then maybe be able to move on later. But that won't be in this campaign. That'll be the next one.
Cool.
If the next group of players comes across Lilith and you guys resolve Mordred's, then she'll be able to take one of the players on as disciple.
Nice.
But you probably are also going to be available at one point, and you have the improved version because your inner mech, if you fight, you can cultivate in your inner mech while you're fighting other mechs.
Yeah. Damage? Oh, baby. Keep hitting me.
And they're like, well, why isn't this working? It's like, it's working.
It's just stronger, though.
Yeah, I'm just getting stronger. It's like, oh, so cultivating in the mech is a lot slower.
Okay.
Because you don't accumulate people-sized potentia. You're a mech. You accumulate mech-sized potentia.
Okay.
Each one of those is worth 10 normal, or you can compress it down to a potentia that is worth it's a perfect one.
So I'll go back and listen to what you just said there, but okay. I got you.
So you know how a potentia, during the DAO discussion, they were talking about quality?
Yep.
So each tree can be cultivated up to 10 times, but each potentia individually has a weight of 1 to 10. Everyone normally as a human cultivates between a quality of 1 to 4. If you are a master, you should be able to 1 to 8, and if you're a grandmaster like Ezekiel, an E, your cultivation for each individual one is a quality 9 or 10, and a 10 is a perfect potentia.
Yeah.
So, as you've seen, like how we had to go through your tree when you used the pinnacle potentia vortex.
Yeah.
It turned all of your potentia into perfect quality 10s.
Yep.
And that's why they all got stupidly better. And that's the difference.
And that's what I was hoping. That was the big oh man, I could do that. Oh yes.
Yeah. If you do use the potentia clusters for the magnitude damage, that does give you fatigue if you go and hit a ship.
That's fine. I do believe it's only 1d10 fatigue, and I have a
1d10.
shit ton of threshold, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, if you go and you're in your inner, like you're strolling around and you're like, fuck this ship, or fuck this mech, that does do 1d10.
Yeah,
but you are technically a mech, so everything you do is magnitude to little people.
Yeah. Poor guys.
If you want, you can even cultivate what is called what is that? What would that be called? I had a word. Inner assistance. So if you ever, like, the avatar you use fighting, you're like, oh, I need some help. You can cultivate a technique that allows you to like reach out with your mech hand from your hanger and go slap.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a little portal opens up and here's a laser cannon.
Yes. That's a dimensional energy technique.
Yeah.
But you can actually cultivate that now. You can cultivate really weird esoteric stuff. Like you can even have it so that a portal opens up to your inner mech and you just drop your axe like a sword of Damocles.
Yeah.
Or an axe comes swinging down. You're like, oh, why? It's like, you thought this was me? That's me. And it's like, oh, that makes sense. That's
this is just
why. You can actually fight Britannia easily now.
Yeah.
Britannia does magnitude damage just passively. So does the Jackie avatar.
Yep. Gorgeous.
So you can go and be like, all right, Britannia, you little shit, let's fight. And technically, you can to take Skippy or Britannia as a disciple. They don't need to be a kid. You can just pick somebody and go, hey, you want to learn the nanobody technique? And they're like, oh, what's special? Yeah.
Oh, is it you or the dog?
Yeah. And technically, over time, maybe over several years, you can have your entire cadre, your entourage, your protectors, all nanobody practitioners. Just imagine you guys walking around base. There's you and your 4 escorts, and it's just like, we are the max. What do you want, Allie?
Oh, she's just talking to Luna.
Fight you and Luna.
No, can't fight her. I'll fight you first.
I'll get her. I'll scoop her up and flip her upside down and get her on the belly, just little tickles and rubs, and she'd be like, oh no, he just got me.
Or Luna.
Luna. For Allie, I don't need to do much. I'll just poke you in your side. You seem the ticklish type.
She, that is actually her greatest weakness.
Yep, that's what I thought. So I would do nothing more than go bother, and poke you in your side of the ribs, and I
punch you in the face.
Yep. Exactly, that's what I thought.
She literally hates it. She hates being tickled.
Yep. Well, that's how I'd win. Okay. Any last things? I want to go take a shower before I go.
There is one last thing, Matt. Because you gave me the wonderful extra willpower. I have another nano protocol. Because I'm up to 65 key now.
Basically, it's an emergency configuration. You can swap out one part using a complex action from your hanger.
Nice.
and it has to be the same size.
Right, it has to fit in that spot.
It has to follow. Well, actually, technically, it doesn't need to follow all the power requirements and all that, but it doesn't work if you don't have the right power,
Okay.
if you don't have the right space left for it.
Mhm.
If it has things it needs and you swap it and you can't give it the things it needs, you might as well not swap it because it doesn't work.
Yep.
So, but if you're like, well, I'm gonna swap my shield generator because this one broke, so I'm gonna. Technically, if you have copies of stuff like the Sekiro shield mod,
Mhm.
if the Sekiro shield mod goes down, you can swap it to one in your inventory that is, or in your hangar that is working.
I feel like I should just eat all the parts of my mechs and then just make new ones, and just be like, here.
Yeah, you can. The Sekiros are very rare, like stupidly rare.
Yeah.
Those you can technically eat it, but making another one is going to be very hard because of the parts required.
That's fair. But at least I can do it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I have the parts. I have the technology.
So basically, you can be fighting and take a big hit, and the shield generator clicks on again, and you're like, something's smoking.
Yeah.
And you look down, your shield mod's on fire. It's like, oh, well, you pat it out, you put it away, you put on a new one. It's like, okay, I'm ready. What'd you just do? Nothing.
Just smooth, man.
Yeah. So upgrades from here are going to be a little ridiculous. You've kind of reached the end game, and this is what Transcendence of Body looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You get fucking jacked. And of course, you use the Pinnacle Potentia Vortex on it too.
Yeah. He gave it to me, and I was like, of course, there's it right here.
All right, I'm gonna go take a shower. If we don't leave immediately, I'll hop back on. But
yep. Yeah. I have a question to you, but I'll send it through text. It's not super important. I'm just curious on it. All right, see you, Matt.